we have to look at the newspapers. A very good morning to you, Robert Coleman, the communications manager for Zoom Lion Ghana Limited. I hope that you're enjoying your time.
Well, he's on leave or something?
No, he's on leave.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I can hold him for my bin.
Oh, you still don't have a bin?
I still don't have a bin.
Oh,
I still don't
we
have
need
a
to
bin.
supply you with a bin.
Yes. Robert Masts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is he watching right now?
I don't know whether he's watching. But
well, good morning to you.
yeah. How are you?
I am good.
You look like you're a bit laid back.
I'm a bit laid back.
Is it your week
like
or
slow?
Yeah, I think it started from the weekend, I think.
Well, you know, when it's getting very close to the end of the month,
yeah.
you know, when you're so dry, it affects everything else.
Charlie.
Yeah, but Charlie got day.
It is well. It is well. Especially when you have some debt to pay already. So by the time the salary comes, it's finished.
Charlie,
yeah.
It had.
God bless you. God bless you.
God will see us through.
God bless you. God bless you. Well, we have to do the newspapers. You have the Daily Graphic.
Let's do the Daily Graphic newspaper, front page of the Graphic. This Tuesday morning, Council of State will work for public good. That's an assurance being given by the chairman of the Council of States, the members of the Council of State, and Nana Otuo Srebo. That's story on page 16. President urged to contain excesses of party activists. But the banner headline on the front page of the paper, 40 former MPs sue government over pension pay, and also Bank of Ghana cuts prime rate to 23.5%. I guess we all want the story of some 40 former members of parliament who have sued government over pension pay. And it says 40 members of parliament have sued the government for some 233,495 Ghana cedis each, being their accrued monthly pension pay since January 2009. The amount being claimed works out to some 13,735 Ghana cedis per person per month, but interest accrued during the 85 months raises the amount to this figure, which is a little above 200,000 Ghana cedis for each person. With the suits filed at the Labour Division of the Accra High Court, the 40 former MPs are collectively demanding some 9,339,800 Ghana cedis from the government. The basis of the legal action by the 40 former MPs is the Chinri Hesse Presidential Emoluments Committee, which provides that parliamentarians who were 50 years and above and exited parliament, having served 2 full terms, should be paid some sums of money as pension benefits. You can read on to see the basis upon which they are demanding for these pension sums, which they say, have accrued over the years. But some of the names amongst the 40, you would find Mr. Yawasafo Mafo, Dr. Kofi Kunedua Preku, Dr. Kwame Ampofo, Mr. Kwame Nabatels, Mr. Freddie Blay, Mr. Kenneth Jirasa, Ms. Catherine Churcha, Mr. Isaac E. Edubazi. Oh, is it Christian? What did I say?
It's a
Christian.
Catherine.
Oh, okay, cool. Apologies there. Mr. Nkrabi Efadate, amongst many others. And this is not just an NPP thing or an NDC thing. I mean, it's a joint suits, members of parliament who... former members of parliament who fall into this category according to the Chinri Hesse Committee, that description there. They're all entitled to apparently. This suit, this is actually not new. If you continue to read the story, this is an action that they took back in February last year. So there's more in this paper on this particular story. Quickly, let's do the back page of the Daily Graphic. Gridco constructs new power substation to feed Accra Central Business District. And the story says that the Ghana Grid Company has started the construction of a substation to reinforce the supply of electricity to the Central Business District of Accra and its environs. The $39 million, which is about 170 million Ghana cedis project, located off the Graphic Road, is being funded by the Japanese government through the Japan International Cooperation Agency.
What's about funded by Japanese government?
I am reading. I am reading.
Who goes school?
Zion College.
That's so Zion College. Charlie. Oh, there's OTB Zion College. Wolong. Which are the stories?
Minority criticizes government over budgets for chief of staff. That's also another story. No, not really. It's just more headlines in the Daily Graphic News. Oh, you just want me to keep talking?
Oh, what? I didn't know Diana. Charlie, let's look at the Ghanaian Times. It has on the front page, don't use working hours for prayers. President tells workers. We'll go look up. I don't know whether we have that insert. If we have that insert, can we play?
Which one is that?
The president. Fred, do we have that insert?
Huh?
Fred can't hear me. Talk back is not working. I wish that we had that insert because I heard it on Joy FM yesterday.
Yeah, of the president saying that people shouldn't.
Well, no. It's not. He shouldn't say people shouldn't pray. You know.
No. I said use working hours.
Day,
yes.
In his day, miracles were scanty. Not the way you had everyday miracles because you worked for them.
Okay.
But now we are in expectation of miracles and don't want to work for the miracles.
Okay.
Yeah.
I get that.
And so you have a phenomenon where people are supposed to be working. They'll go on Thursday for an hour somewhere and come back.
Yeah.
And the expectation is that even if you don't learn, you pray, you get your grades.
Exactly.
And so you have, even in church, people come to bear testimony. This is I didn't write anything. I only wrote the pastor's name and then I got the grades.
He said all that?
Well, no, I'm adding to it.
Okay.
You know, so that kind of phenomenon that the president was talking about.
Okay.
And
we probably would see it on myjournline.com and then maybe we can play it from there.
Yeah. Anyway, so we have other stories there. Bank of Ghana policy rate drops to 23.5%. I don't know whether that will translate into the borrowing rate for us, the domestic consumers. The story, meanwhile, is on page 26 of the paper.
Does it also affect existing loans repayments?
I think so,
if
because
it's not fixed?
the loans, once they're compounded, are usually structured in such a way. It says the Monetary Policy Committee of the Bank of Ghana has significantly, reduced the policy rate to 23.5% from 25.5%, representing a 200 basis point reduction. The cut is the biggest by the Bank of Ghana since 2006, and it follows its 50 basis point reduction in January. It means the economy is not as bad, you know. The drop in policy rate is expected to spur lending and business activity in the country. Dr. Abdul Nashiru Isahaku, governor of the Bank of Ghana, announced the good news, according to the Ghanaian Times, at a press briefing in Accra yesterday, citing declining inflation rate and stability of the cedi, among others, as reasons for cuts. Headline inflation declined for the fifth consecutive month in February 2017. Inflation fell from 17.2% in 2016 September to 15.4% in 2016 December, and further down to 13.2% just last month. Very good, very good. Right.
But a cut from 25.5% to 23.5%, that's very significant.
So usually this is what happens. It's a reflection of how the economy performed from the last quarter into the current quarter.
Okay.
Okay, so it's a spiral effect.
So I'm smiling because then I'm thinking it means that the NDC administration was right then. They said things were going to be better in 2017.
Yes. So I think that, so there's a spiral effect. You can have that trickle down effect into the economy. And I think that usually also it's as a result of fiscal activity over the period, either because maybe there was some level of austerity or we had boosted other variables of the economy, maybe exports, and seen some reduction in
this could also be artificial. Yeah, it could be, just a very bold step, hoping that something significant can occur.
It's possible too.
Okay,
maybe some people no, but usually you don't reduce the policy rates when you know that some variables like the rate at which the banks are borrowing are still high, or perhaps people still don't deposit enough in the banks, and the businesses don't make enough to generate enough revenue, etc. So there are other factors in the economy that will compel the Bank of Ghana to do that.
I've heard loans are going bad because people just can't repay.
Yes, that is why even though we may have the lending rates, and this is the rate at which the commercial banks borrow from the Bank of Ghana. So they go and borrow from the Bank of Ghana, and then they come and give you.
Yeah.
I mean, sort of.
But now that, you know, when you get the percentage, then you don't expect them to go beyond a certain
Yes.
a certain figure, right?
Yes. So you may see 23, and it will take them, let's say, the next 2 quarters for them to
Adjust.
Yes, because once businesses had not been performing too well over the last financial year or 2, it means that the bad loans that they have on their books may somehow be written off in a short term, and they have to make up for it somehow.
Yeah.
And so it will still mean that people domestically or domestic consumers will still not have enough to borrow.
Yeah, I guess we'll have a lot more conversation on this tomorrow, Wednesday, when we do our AM business right here on the AM show. Let's do the Finder newspaper, front page of the Finder this morning. 40 ex-MPs sue governments, 10 million Ghana cedis as pensions and lump sum in line with Chinwe Hesse committee report. Also balance religiosity with productivity, what you were saying, the president said. That story is here on page 8. Don't prevent student from writing WASI for non-payment of fees. Is this a directive, you know, because the Minister of Education is saying that don't prevent student from writing WASI for non-payment of fees. Also Bank of Ghana rates, cuts cedis depreciation to spur growth. But let's go to page 8 with this story, and hopefully we'll get to play the sound bites here on the show. And it says Ghana's need to keep a proper balance between religiosity and the right attitude to work in order for the country to build that new economy it has so desired over the years. President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has suggested. The president bemoaned a growing phenomenon among Ghanaians where hard work has been substituted for miracles and an overly religious attitude to work at various workplaces in the country. This phenomenon, he said, is fast eroding the practical aspect associated with religion, such as hard work, cleanliness, respect for the Lord, which equally paid dividend aside its core mandate of redeeming souls. So here's a quote. Today, an increasing number of people seem to think that success in all fields of endeavor is dependent on miracles and not hard work. We come to work and spend the first hour and more, not on the job we're paid to do, but on prayers. And he goes on to speak. And I see why Roland wants us to play that, and we will certainly look for it, pull it out wherever it is.
It's a nice...
coming from the president, it means a lot.
Yeah,
it means a lot.
It's an encouraging, and it's something that when you listen to preachers like Joel Osteen, in Ghana you have Dr. Mensa Otabil.
Yeah.
You know, you tend to have those things. For example, I was listening to Dr. Mensa Otabil on Sunday, and he was saying that pastors also have their own problems. And you, the individual, will also have to work to improve or better your life.
Yeah.
Whether through prayer or whatever, by yourself. Nobody has to do it for you. So you can't be a lazy Christian and assume that you will reap the successes as dictated by the word of God.
Yeah, it's true.
God works in various mysterious ways.
Yeah. If you've got your morning devotion and for some reason you couldn't do it at home and you want to do it in the office, if your office work starts at 8. We don't expect you to pull that book and your Bible out because you are the holiest of whatever and do that at 8. We expect that then you get to the office early enough so you can do it before the work starts.
Where do you go to church?
Doesn't matter. Okay, so here's the president with this message that, you know, we're kind of closely taking it in this morning here on our show. Here's President Akufo-Addo.
Today, an increasing number of people seem to think that success in all fields of endeavor is dependent on miracles and not hard work. We come to work and spend the first hour and more, not on the job we are paid to do, but on prayers. We go to all-night prayers and come to work the next day, tired and unfit for purpose. We take out a week for every funeral and expect our businesses to thrive because we invoke the name of the Almighty. I am eternally grateful to the Almighty for His grace and favor that led to our winning the elections of December 7th. But it would be unfair to discount the amount of very hard work that was put in by many, many people up and down the country.
A very significant call indeed, coming from a man who we know also believes very much in prayers and believes in God. So if he says it as he has, I hope that it goes down really well. Don't pretend you're not the only Christian in Ghana. We all believe in God, man. Yeah, don't use the working hours to do the work of God. Okay, there's one more story in the Finder. Quickly touch on it, and then we'll move on to another paper. The Ministry of Education, Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh, has instructed heads of second cycle institutions not to prevent any student from writing the ongoing West African Senior High School examinations for non-payment of school fees. A statement issued by Enoch Kobina, Chief Director of the Ministry of Education, said the directive follows a dialogue between Ghana Education Service and the national executives of the Conference of Heads of Assisted Secondary Schools. The minister warned all heads of public senior high schools to desist from collecting unapproved fees, particularly Form 3 students of the 2016-17 academic year. He directed school heads to stick to fees approved by the Ghana Education Service and urged parents and guardians to pay the awards fees as approved by GAS. This is a good call, certainly. Don't sack any public school child who's writing the ongoing WASSCE for school fees. After all, they'll come for the results. That's when you take your money. That's when you insist on taking your money, but you can't let them miss.
But these days, you don't even need to go to school to go and take the results.
Oh, well, you need a physical slip when you want to go on to the next level.
Yeah,
so
but by the time that you pay the fees, the school would have been in dire straits.
Well, okay, so this must be backed with something else from the ministry then.
Yeah.
Then you must be giving them...
Because by the time that you want that slip, it will be, let's say, some few months or a year down the lane.
Yeah.
When you want to go and apply to the uni. Okay?
I get you.
But you can go and print the result. That's not... anybody could do it. So they don't accept that as a slip for you to use in applying for uni.
Yeah.
But...
that's when you go back to your former school and take
by the
results.
time you need it, that's when you go back.
Yeah.
And that time you may have recovered enough to pay. But when the school needed the money, would have long passed.
I want to believe that for Charles to have agreed to this, it means that something else that have not been said in the statement must have been agreed on.
All right, can we do the online portals if we can? We have to do the online portals, and I guess we'll see what the Minister of Education does about this. I don't know how you would have felt, though, if you were the head of a senior high school or a secondary school in which your students hadn't paid their fees. And you know that, let's say, in some of the schools, they have as many as 1,000 students.
Yeah.
And averagely, if you have about only 50% paying, it's a difficult situation. But happy birthday to you as we ready ourselves for the online portals. You're 51 years today. And Eric Mensah Oklu of Hoga Clinic, Akachi, 51 years today. And happy birthday to you and your family. And this one is from Ifwa Antoinette. And she lives in Romford, the United Kingdom. Ifwa, I hope you're watching. If you're not watching, don't come.
She'll catch up. She'll catch up. She'll catch up. My Joe
Online
TV.
Yeah.
Oh, there's one story, one headline in the Today newspaper. It says confusion at foreign Ghana over dismissal of workers. Just quickly on that before we jump onto my Joe line. That story on page 3. Which says workers of Foreign Ghana Limited, a multinational import and export company located along the Spintex Road in the Greater Accra region, are boiling with anger. Today can report their anger, according to information available to Today, follows what the workers perceived as intimidating tactics being employed by Mr. Alexander Chiramatain led management to smoke out workers who openly expressed their opinions on issues affecting the company. You can read on it. It's a long piece in the paper this morning. That's actually the banner headline in the Today newspaper, Roland.
Okay, so we have to go to myjournline.com, Amavi. It's got an array of stories.
CBOD COPEC wants government action against powerful petroleum cartel. I don't know, but
the story is there.
Yeah, the story is certainly there. It says revelations that the state lost some $490 million last year to the activities of a petroleum cartel has gotten the nation talking, and that's where these various groups are
need to be in petroleum.
Speaking on that.
Yeah, there's a lot of money there.
See, God doesn't make mistakes, eh?
Where do you go to
if you had been released to any other field, man, oh gosh. Okay.
You mean I would have been in prison by now? Yes, possible.
U.S. parents sue to call baby girl Allah. A couple in the U.S. state of is it
Allah
Georgia who
illallah.
were banned from naming their daughter Allah are taking legal action. Hey, it be you. But why would you want to name your daughter or your child?
Charlie, that child could be bombed though.
Isn't that's that okay? Well,
That child
there are
could be
children
bombed.
named Allah is God, right?
Yeah, but there are names severally in Latin America and in the Hispanic world called Jesus or Jesus.
Yeah, I'm thinking that maybe you
Jesus.
can.
Some of them they call it Jesus.
Yeah, I've seen. There's a Jesus footballer.
No, there are many Jesus
Yeah.
nevers. A lot of them. I mean, in Latin America or South America or Spain, I mean, Jesus is a common name.
Yeah, but in the same
Jesus.
way, I guess in the same vein, we have a lot of Muhammads. But if you're saying Allah, that's like calling you God, Roland.
But it's like calling somebody Nyame. It's not the same thing.
Okay, well, so this is not a big deal after all. Okay, well.
Anyway.
Okay, I guess the debate will continue wherever. Police arrest 5 members of Delta Force over Kumasi attack. Some people we know have said this is just like a show. Once
But
nobody's
the latest
watching
is that is it Kwejo Bamba also?
from the
The head of the Delta Force Vigilante Group says that they will listen to the president, and I think that's a good one. Let's leave it at that, Mama.
Opportunity International trains money lenders in risk management. Financial reporting. Moving on, still on myjournline.com. Judge recuses himself from $2 million fraud case. An Accra High Court judge handling a case involving an Accra-based lawyer, Charles Opoku Yeboah, and another over an alleged $2 million estate fraud on Thursday, recused himself from the case. You can read and find out why. Also on the page, Akufo-Addo, Chinese embassy pledges support to help government's Galamsey fights. Akufo-Addo freezes purchase of new vehicles indefinitely. Review Uncle Ebo White's blackmail. Is that a nuanced exploration or
Review.
something?
It's supposed to be review.
Marital
Review of
infidelity.
Uncle Ebo White.
Oh, so this is a review. If you haven't watched Blackmail,
Yeah.
which is showing this weekend, by the way.
Oh,
then
it is?
Join me because I haven't seen
If I'm around and free, I have to go watch it. Have you gone to watch it?
No, I haven't. Delta Force attack. Appropriate sanctions will be applied as Deputy Interior Minister designate. He's promised. Okay.
You know this man, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Very tall man.
Yeah.
Giant.
We wish him well in handling the Delta
Oh,
Force
he
and
can,
the
he can,
invisible forces. Okay, all right.
He's a
Good
very
luck
strong
to
man.
him.
So Benedict Owusu is here, but before then, let's just go through these stories. Ghanaians slam police officer who forcibly kissed female. We also have committee reviewing a married deal to political Jinapo. We deserve our pension cash, we served Ghana. And then 40 ex-MPs sue for nearly, 10 million
40.
pension cash.
So that's a follow. The story up is still related to this.
Voila.
That's like a
You tell
justified.
West Grash and you answer a review, now you say to you. Charlie, one day I have to be an MP.
Were they on the committee, the Chinwe committee? They weren't. If the committee,
I'm not saying they were.
put those,
That's not
put
what I'm
those
saying.
clauses in there, then they absolutely deserve it.
Please, I'm not
with
saying-
them.
I'm not
I
say-
wish I was one of the lawyers, or maybe.
I actually wish my uncle or father was one.
Oh, but I hear.
Yes, it go. 10
Because-
million, not 40
Wait,
people.
no, wait, hang on. But most of these
10
people,
million.
Roland, hang on.
Charlie, to
Most of these
Mambo,
people have not been
Hey,
actively
Asamoah,
working. Most of them have not been actively working.
But they are old men.
And yeah,
Oh, what are you talking
and
about?
and if you don't have any pension, remember medical bills and things like that. So you may be calculating. You've seen the figure, big like that, but really, I'm not sure. Yeah, it's that big in terms of if it was.
250,000 Ghana.
Yeah. Okay, just quickly on BBC, aid worker killings could hinder famine relief. Shocking killing of aid workers is causing charities to reassess famine relief in South Sudan, among many other stories on the page this morning. Quickly, just before we run off and make way for Benedict, Akwesi Dankwa. This is when we have our little money moment where we contribute 10 Ghana cedis to our box. Roland 10, myself 10, and we're breaking this box.
And we're saying that you have to
Friday.
encourage yourself to do, and especially for those of you who have children, you have to encourage them.
Yeah.
and please let them
Get them
let
cute
them do
boxes.
something. Whether they write a book for themselves, you get it published, and you try to sell it around their school, etc. Just to make something and grow the whole trait of entrepreneurship in them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So whatever you do, make sure you put some little
You know,
money
Mommy, there's this
on
song
the
that I love so
side.
much. I don't know. You know, Runtown,
Yes.
Mad Over You.
But listen,
Ghana
that
girls
video.
say-
Yeah.
Charlie,
Ghana
Charlie.
girls say what?
She won't marry me. Yeah, Charlie, that girl,
Yeah,
that lady.
That video is not appropriate for early morning programming on television.
No, I didn't say we wanted to play.
But you love the
just-
song.
I kind of love
Okay.
the song. I'm not
Good.
saying that I love it for the morning, but I mean I love the song.
I hear. We'll share it someday, but just not in the mornings. Good morning to Alaji Abu, who is in Kumasi. Good morning to you. Respect to you.
Shout out, sir.
Alaji is my special person.
I'm so phlegm. Why?
Stay with us. We've got detailed sports coming your way here on the show.
With Benedict also.